Well, I'm so excited because today I think this is really my first official Wednesday walkabout, and I want you all to come along with me. If you're new, welcome to the Wednesday walkabout that we do once a week, and I just kind of give you an overview of what is going on in the garden. So I feel like this is my first official one, and I'm looking to see what's happening. And look at this, I'm so excited. If you have followed me for any length of time, you know one of my very favorite things is when seeds begin to germinate in my garden beds. And earlier, I think it was last week, not even a full week ago, I scattered some cleome, some verbena, some minoan lace, some different plants from my friend Gail, and I already have germination, and I'm thrilled. That's one advantage of it being a little bit warmer than usual this past week, because the soil warms and then that really speeds up germination. And what I've always found anecdotally is that when seeds germinate in my garden and I face south, so it was true at the fairy tale house, it's true here at the cottage, that seeds tend to germinate from the north moving south for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. So that instructs me as to where I should start kind of looking. You can see here's an allium that I planted late, but it is coming up, and it is going to do what I'm hoping all of these plants are going to do in this section, and that is have a very cottage garden feel to it. And by the way, you guys need to pre-order. I think it's available for pre-order. My friend Klaus Dalby's book, I wrote the foreword for it on cottage gardens. So it will also be very, very helpful to me. But I'm thrilled that even though it's been very windy, all of this agapanthus, the indigo frost, it's just standing up to the wind beautifully and contributing to the vibe up here on the upper terrace that I have tried to describe in words. And in my head, as I was planning my design, those words were hovering, fluttering, cascading, and I love that, and kind of billowy. And so these things are doing that. So I've already seen so many pollinators hovering. There have been so many sphinx moths that look like little hummingbirds already. And I just love it. Look at all of these new buds on these Southern Living agapanthus that you guys can order. And I'll try to remember to put a link below. And we also officially, it took a while to get here, but Stuart, we officially got our Encore Azalea and Southern Living sign.
It's official.
That this garden was brought to us by. One comment that you all made is you were surprised that I didn't have more sedums or more succulents in my garden. Well, this garden is far from finished. It's basically just the shrubs and some of the larger Southern Living perennials that are in place. But I have much more planting that I'll be doing on my own, including some succulents and some sedums. Amongst them, there's a little bit better of a sample right there. That is a pure joy.
Let's be honest.
What?
Is the garden ever finished?
The garden is never finished.
Never finished.
Especially a new garden. But that's a beautiful pure joy succulent that I had overwintering in the greenhouse, and a lot of those plants are starting to go in the ground. I divided some of it up over here, and there's a little tuft of it, and this will spread really easily. And then I can just pinch off a piece, which will make the original plant bushier. And then I can just stick that little part that I pinched off into the ground. Take a couple of the leaves, pinch it off, put it in the ground, tuck it in its little bed, and then, yes, science, propagation, and then I'll have a little village of this pure joy. I want to get some sedum autumn joy in here.
That
and
was such a cool sentence.
what's that?
I'll have this little village of pure joy. Is that
Yeah,
what you
I'll
just
have
said?
that. Yes,
That's a great
yes, I'll have
sentence.
a little village of pure joy. Yes, I love that. I love that. A friend of mine said that some of the boxwood dollops, actually it wasn't a friend. Well, it was a friend. It was one of you. It was a follower, and I love this. I'm sorry I don't remember your name. Put in the comments below if it was you. When I was talking about the dollops of boxwood,
Oh yeah.
that I put in the garden, she said, well, those are like the suburbs. Those are the suburbs to the Boxwood villages. I loved that. I loved that so much. Another thing that I've planted in here that came out of the greenhouse was I had salvaged some of this Joseph's coat, this chartreuse Joseph's coat, which will perfectly mimic and color echo the sunshine ligustrum. And you can see it's already, I pinched it back pretty hard and it's already putting out all sorts of flushes of new growth. And next week, it's supposed to really cool down and maybe we'll get some rain. And if so, this stuff will take off. Yesterday, I went to the farmer's market and I got a number of plants. Amongst them is more of this Joseph's coat. And I'm going to provide kind of a border of this beautiful lemony chartreuse color up and down the brick walkway. But that's the only tease I'm going to give you about what I bought, primarily for the window box, because this Friday or Saturday, we're going to put up a whole thing on the shopping expedition, what I bought, and a little bit more info about the progress of the window box itself. You can see that I have pretty much, at least in this area, to about there, you can see the line of demarcation where I have mulched with the Happy Grow and gravel combo and where I've not yet mulched. And that's something that I'm doing on my own. I'm not going to have help for a little while. So I'm going to have to be doing that on my own. So I've got more gravel in the wheelbarrow and more Happy Grow mulch. And make sure to stay tuned on Sunday because Jennifer, who I believe she worked at Lowe's, she gave us some inside scoop on the Happy Grow and why it's discontinued in some places. And she gave us just a little bit of inside info about why you may or may not be able to find it in your area. And I'm going to share that on Sunday. Thank you, Jennifer, because people were asking for it. If you hear this, Jennifer, please comment below because I think it's going to be so helpful to all of us. So that's kind of what's going on there. I'm so thrilled because so many of the buddleias, of the blueberries, pretty much everything was really looking like it had some sunstroke. It was a little, just wind tattered. And now it's starting to really perk up. The leaves are becoming turgid again. I'm getting lots of blooms on the buddleia. And look at these blueberries, Stuart. Look at these blueberries.
Got to reverse.
They're really getting big. And look at the sweet blueberry blossoms.
Can I eat them yet?
The white, no, you cannot eat them yet. Don't you dare touch them. See the beautiful little white blueberry blossoms that are transforming into blueberries. There's some there.
Let me show them these right here real quick.
Yeah, and this is the first year. Plus, look at all of this new growth that's coming out. So obviously, so far at least, it is liking its location. And I did give it some berry tone from Espoma, which will kind of acidify the soil, and it seems to be responding to that. There's all sorts of new buds coming out on these barren canes right here.
Happy.
Can you see that?
I gotta get closer.
Yeah,
I don't know the garden yet.
Yeah,
so I'm afraid
I know. Step. Okay,
the
can you
old garden,
see that?
I knew where to step.
Step.
Put your hand behind it so it focuses.
Yeah, can you see right there? There's little tiny.
There it is.
I should know that to do that. But look at all that new fresh green growth. This is it takes the cake. Love these names. It takes the cake. Rabbit eye blueberries. You can order those from Southern Living also. And then these indigo frost are starting to bloom over here, and I just pray I can get them to perennialize. So that's very, very fun. Another update from before, you can see where I've still got some mulch to spread over here. I've got to shovel down because I stopped. Shovel down because I kind of stopped.
But look at the nice
mid-spread.
Oh, don't tell me.
What's that?
The pink flowers.
Oh, the angel wing begonias. Those probably are not going to stay there. Those overwintered.
It's adding some pop of color over there right
Yes, but I think I'm probably going to do something in my color palette that I discussed that you guys helped me decide on, the yellow and purple and white.
I just said it looks nice now.
But that's where that focal point is going to be. Poor Stuart, my brain works faster than
everybody loves it. No worries.
Can keep up with. So I've got more tidying up to do over there, and I've planted all of these white wedding hydrangeas, which will be this gorgeous, I am anticipating in my mind, this gorgeous banquet of white wedding hydrangeas that will be blooming in front of these dark green hollies.
Oh, there's more over there.
And white wedding.
Holy smokes.
The tag says full sun, so this is going to be a real test for them.
It's kind of my second favorite to Terra.
What's that?
White wedding.
White wedding, yeah.
Terra being my favorite.
Terra being your favorite. But white wedding are beautiful, and what I like about them is they bloom later. So they'll bloom a little bit later than some of the other hydrangeas and after some of the other spring bloomers are finished. So on Sunday, I'm going to show you on this side, because I haven't scattered seed over here yet, I'm going to show you on this side my seed scattering technique, which I think will be fun. I want to give a shout out also to, is it Deborah? I apologize. There's so many comments with so many different names, but put in the comment below, and you guys make sure to read the comments, because you can mine so much great information. So someone had noticed that it looked funny that the base of these pine cones seemed a little bit too small for this outtake, or this bit of porch that projects out, and it needed a transition stone. And she suggested that I put one of these pavers here, and that's actually what I had in mind, and a similar technique that I had done at the other house, but I just had forgotten to do it, and I just hadn't done it yet. And she had such a good eye that she reminded me. Otherwise, I kind of would just look at it and in my mind think I'd already done it, and I hadn't. But I think this makes a beautiful transition stone for these pineapples, which I adore. And Frida the frog really seemed to like it too. She approved. So
saw a few people liked Frida.
Yeah, I think Frida is our little garden mascot. Do you pet frogs?
Hey.
You kiss them. I don't know if you pet them. Here, Stuart. This might be our thumbnail shot. I'm kissing the frog.
Nope, not a prince yet.
I know, I'm a little corny. I apologize.
Hey, again, we love it.
Hello. So that Miss Bonnie Spirea is also starting to put out tons of new growth. And so this is going to be in my head, this little fluff of a border. So there will be Boxwood Village that goes into pink blooming spirea, Boxwood Village, pink blooming spirea, both really tough plants. This is some of the new boxwood, and I think it's going to just be thrilling. I think, and this is my question of the day, and I really want your input. So I still have a lot of real estate down here to cover, because I think some of you doubted that I'd be able to find a place for all of these Southern Living plants. But oh no.
Yeah.
A new garden is a thirsty garden, and it's soaked up every one of these plants. So you'll see over here
Hold up, let me get over there with that rain
that
and stuff.
I've got, can I get out of your way,
You're good.
Stuart?
You stay where you
And
are.
by the way, the noise, I don't know if you can hear it
It's
or
not
not,
bad.
but the noise
They can
across
hear
the
it.
street is they're putting in a pool. So this whole area still needs to be filled in. And I am thinking, I think of this as my autumn corner, as my fall corner. And I'm thinking about continuing, because if one thing works, do more of it. And I love the way the orange rocket barberry is looking, especially with the sunshine ligustrum. So I'm thinking about putting more orange rocket and sunshine ligustrum down there. Let me know your thoughts on that.
I vote yes.
You vote yes. I think it could be really beautiful, and in the fall, spectacular. And then with the leucanthemum, which is kind of a form of a chrysanthemum, that coming up, I kind of just envision this to be my autumnal corner. So I think it'll be beautiful, and I think that's what I'm going to do over here. So Southern Living, if you hear me, I may, I might also put some Obsession Nandinas in there. And yes, it is very nice to be provided these plants by Southern Living, though I've bought my share of Southern Living plants as well. And they just perform so beautifully. Another viewer commented, this is all about viewer comments today, Stuart.
Good.
Somebody commented that this Anne Magnolia, Anne or Jane, is going to get too big for the porch, for the social patio. Well, I hope it gets big. And if it does, then what I will do is what I like to do best, and that is prune up some of the lower branches so then it branches high and will provide a little bit of privacy and shade. And look at all of these new buds on here, Stuart. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
Makes me happy. The texture of that, it just makes me happy. That may have been where the flowers were, but it has really done well in the transition in moving it. And I was somewhat nervous about that, but it seems to be doing very, very well. I also planted some seed, and I do need more pavers, because one of the things I want to avoid is compressing the soil by walking on it. And I'm going to try to avoid that. So I need more pavers.
Yeah, I need places to step, that's for
yes,
sure.
especially Stuart needs places to step. One thing that I seeded around the border also of the social patio was some of that charming golden feverfew that blooms in gold and almost looks, a lot of you asked if I could grow lady's mantle or Alchemilla mollis. That was another common question. And I have grown it in the past, some in pots, but it really just doesn't like Oklahoma very well. So my substitute for that is that golden feverfew. And I am not seeing any of those characteristics. I am seeing a weed.
You ducked me.
But I'm not seeing any characteristic golden feverfew seedlings, which is one of my happiest things to look for. So I'm just gonna be on the lookout for that. Yes, I'll probably have to do some thinning. I may regret plant seeding some of this too densely, even though I take measures to mitigate that. But nevertheless, I just really want that floating, hovering feel over here in the cottage garden. So let me see what else I need to point out. Let's talk a little bit about the Bermuda. So if I have said it once, I've said it a million times, that I reserve the right to change my mind. And originally, both sides, I had also anticipated removing the grass and only having a grassy passage down here on the other side of the sidewalk. But then I decided, as so many of you also pointed out from a design perspective, that I wanted a really beautiful green canvas as a kind of a frame for, sometimes it's a canvas and sometimes it's a frame. In this case, the grass will be a frame to the things that are blooming in the cottage garden. And then what I'm going to do up here is I'm going to plant some villages of those beautiful roses, and I'll probably plant like 3 of them here. So I'll have those mounded, rounded rose bushes, carpet roses, against the mounded, rounded boxwood. I'll do it here, and I'll do it over here. I may or may not put one in the middle. Then I'll make sure that I give it a good clipped edge, which I will show you how to do so that the Bermuda doesn't grow into those flower beds. A number of you have said that in your area, you keep trying to kill Bermuda because it's such a weed. Well, in Oklahoma, it's actually a cultivated bred grass because it derives from Africa, and it can really handle heat and drought. So I've still got some weeding to do, and I'll be staying on top of that. I'm sure that will be a process that goes on for quite a while. We might even put out some more seed a little bit later, but already those runners are starting to fill in. And even though it isn't nearly to the degree of perfection and tailored look that I like, it is nevertheless a work in process. And so I'm going to try to be patient. When this gets finished, I think it's just going to really be lovely. And then with my fall corner, I think it'll be really beautiful. Do you agree, Stuart?
Very much so.
Okay, this is my second question of the day. Do you guys out there agree? And do you agree with my leaving some grass here? And I do now. I was so excited this morning when the irrigation system came on automatically. And yes, we are on some kind of water rationing here on odd days. Odd days on the calendar, those of us with odd addresses can water. And then also those of you who have even addresses can water on even days. So that works out really beautifully for us, and we're constantly on that kind of water rationing. It never goes away. This side is really weedy, but I will do some of the same things with the roses here. Roses up in here. Some of these Oakland hollies really did not like the move, and they're going to have to put out new growth, but that's okay. All in all, things have done pretty well. I need to really clean up all of the brick, but I'll still be using some of it. I've got more weeding to do over here. I'll be planting some more perennials through here, and then camouflaging the base of that. That might become just a bird bath. I'm not sure. I haven't really thought that through completely yet. It's fun to still have decisions that have yet to be made. So, let me also show
something
you.
else too.
What?
Tell them about your shirt.
Oh, okay. I'll tell you about my shirt. But first, I want to show you this gorgeous Swiss chard. You may recall that about a month ago, I planted this from starts. And look how gorgeous it looks in these pots. And it would also be equally as beautiful in the bed. So I'm going to have to incorporate more edible landscaping. I envision maybe some kind of eggplants, bushy eggplants in here. I'm still thinking through that. So Stuart wanted me to show you my new shirt. And by the way, you guys can order this. We'll put a link below. A number of you sweetly told me that you were concerned about the resource for these because they are slow. I admit that they are
Well, we're
slow.
learning that too, right?
But we're
Yeah.
learning that too. But I think it's worth a wait. So I ordered 3 for myself, and I got them in 3 different packages, but they did show up. And this one might be my favorite. I'm not sure. I love this one. This one was designed by our friend Alex.
Yep.
Many years ago, and I just really love it. And also, I love its fabric. It's not so stiff, and it's just a little bit more comfortable. It would be great to sleep in and work in the garden in. So I really like that. Have we forgotten anything?
Probably not, but maybe.
Probably not. The window box still needs some more work. The tulips, you can see all the barren tulips over there. They're about done. So these big pots of tulips will move to the back, and pretty soon I'll be thinking about my container gardens. You can see how I've got more of this chartreuse Joseph's coat that will get really beautiful, large and mounded. And I looked through the lens of everything has to be extremely, extremely tough to be on my plant list for this summer, this spring and this summer and into fall. So I have to plant that. I've got a lot more stuff to do. And I can't tell you how excited I am to do it, especially because there's a prospect of rain next week. So to celebrate, I'm gonna actually practice a little bit of personal hygiene, and I'm gonna go get a manicure and a pedicure today and get my hair trimmed and things I haven't done in a very, very long time to celebrate. So there you go. There is our weekly Wednesday walkabout. If you've got any questions, just put them in the comments below. Thank you to all of you who made great suggestions, great comments, and also reminded me of a few things that I intended to do.